Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And we are very appreciative of the Ooltewah Club for being our title sponsor. I was out there today getting some photos of the member guest tournament. Been there all weekend. I'll post some of those on our social media too, so you can see kind of the stuff I did for them. Also very proud to be representatives of the Believe Entertainment Network, representatives of the University of Tennessee, I should say, on the Believe Entertainment Network. And I know immediately everybody's thinking, man, look at that hat. Oh my goodness, look how good that. I know, I agree. It is fantastic. Look at the puff embroidery on that bad boy. Man, that is some good stuff right there. The fleck and the rope there. The Richardson 355 laser perforated performance hat. You too can have one of these at thevolbros.com/shop. That's thevolbros.com/shop. Here in a minute, I'll put a link directly to it in the comments. Welcome to everyone who's joining us this evening. Rustin and I have really one topic to discuss tonight, and that is apparently all the baseball players in the country want to play for Tony Vitello. That's how that works. Congratulations to LSU on winning the national championship. Congratulations to Keegan Bradley on a comeback today. I hated it for Tommy Fleetwood. I hated it for him. I love Fleetwood is such a good guy, and I hated that happened. But before we get to those two pickups that Tennessee had today, let's see what's happening in the comments. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, good Sunday evening, everyone. Hope it's been a good weekend for you. He said, if you're looking for something to watch this offseason, get on YouTube and type in Tennessee Quarterback Roundtable. And that's Heath Schuler, Condridge Holloway, Dewey Warren, and Andy Kelly, Pat Ryan, and Jeff Francis telling stories of their time playing quarterback and what it means to play the position at UT. It's an hour and a half long, but you will enjoy it. That sounds awesome. Thank you very, very much for letting us know that. That is fantastic. Let's see here. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, hello, Evan and Ruston chat family. Hope everyone's had a great Sunday. I hope you have as well, buddy. Let's see. Mino Likey, welcome. Great to have you as a channel member. She said, we greeted the 1974 team after the Liberty Bowl, but I think Andy Kelly and Condridge Holloway are her favorites. Rhonda, channel member. Great to have you, Rhonda. She said, good evening, everyone. Hope all y'all have a good weekend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Elijah, welcome, buddy. There's another channel member. We appreciate you. He said, what's up, bros, in chat? Let's see here. Herb, welcome, Herb. Great to have you, buddy. Said, any news on the Rutgers pitcher Landon Mack? Would be a huge addition. Hadn't heard anything about him yet.
Nope.
Let's see. Herb said, yeah, Tommy Fleetwood collapse was hard to watch. It sure was, buddy. It sure was. That to make it even worse, when he just barely missed the green on the 18th hole, that putt that he had, his ball ended up almost directly behind Keegan's ball. So Keegan was going to get a read off of, essentially that made Keegan's putt for him because he was going to get a read off of Tommy's ball. Unfortunately, Tommy missed it. I just hate it for him, man. He'll get that first tour win soon. Ranked like the number 7 player in the world. I just hate it for him. Top 10 player for sure. Elijah said, I know y'all don't watch the NBA, but did you guys see Halliburton's injury? Absolutely gruesome and heartbreaking. I did see slow motion replay of it on Twitter. I wish I had not seen that. Man, I wish nothing but the best for him, speedy recovery, because pretty sure he just tore his Achilles tendon. So really hope he's okay. Mississippi Vol said, Coach B has been tearing it up in recruiting this year. Very, very impressed with the work they put in, not only this year, but the 8 years they have been here. Totally agree, 100%. He's got the number 1 signing class and about to have the number 1 transfer portal class too. That's a good combination. Mississippi Vol said, I'm not an SEC fan, but the past 6 championships come from our conference is impressive. Totally agree. Bobby, welcome, buddy. He said, Gainey is working out for an NBA team, so I guess that means no 5th year. Well, there you go. I did not know that. Elijah said Halliburton's injury is the worst Achilles tear he's ever seen, rippled up to his knee. Nasty stuff. Yeah, it was not pretty. Tony said, be surprised if Ford makes it to campus. Welcome, Tony. Good to have you. I would tend to agree with that. Let's hope he does, though. We'll get to that in just a second. Jonathan said, I don't know too much about the baseball players, but they seem like great players will be big-time players. Well, let's talk about it. Ruston. So I'm gonna mention both guys, and you tell me what you think about the pickups today. So the first one that was announced today is DJ Newman. He is also, so we already had one, the catcher from Bowling Green, committed to Tennessee. DJ Newman is a somewhat unique type player in that he is an outfielder and a right-handed pitcher. Henry Ford from Virginia, first baseman and outfielder. I think he hit cleanup actually this year for Virginia. Major bat. Rustin, what do you think about those two guys?
The DJ, let's start with DJ. DJ Newman is intriguing. So first of all, his freshman year at Bowling Green, he was freshman All-American. He was the MAC freshman of the year, made freshman All-American. Really, the only thing you can gauge off of is last year. So he started the year this year with a lot of big hype around him and got hurt 25 games in and didn't finish the season. So if you look at his sophomore year, he was 4-2 on the mound, 3.61 ERA, strike thrower. He's not overpowering, but he gets outs. He has a very high to strikeout to walk ratio. It's almost 5-1. He's not going to strike out a ton of guys in the SEC, but he's not going to give up free bases. He's going to pound the strike zone. He was actually their Friday night starter this year until he got injured. So I'm very curious to see where they go with him. If he ends up being kind of I don't know who's a good example. Kind of a middle reliever guy who could give you multiple innings if needed, could start in a pinch. Yeah, he could be, he could fulfill a lot of roles there. I'm very interested to see if they're truly going to use him as a two-way player. Because if he's going to play in the field, I almost think he's probably a DH. I don't think he's good enough defensively to play anywhere in the SEC. Before he got injured this year, through their first 25 games, he was hitting 419. Last year, he hit 371 with 10 bombs. So he's got a good bat. He has continually proven that he can hit. And was hitting well over 400 when he got injured this year. So I think most likely he projects as a pitcher DH. I don't see them using him in the outfield. When you think about our returning outfielders, we've probably got Reese Chapman coming back. You got Jay Abernathy, you got Chris Newstrom. Like, I just don't see him being in the outfield anywhere. So I maybe as a backup, but quality opportunity as a DH. Now Henry Ford, I see him being the everyday first baseman. I see him hitting cleanup. I do see him making it to campus, and I'll tell you why. He's a draft eligible sophomore who had a above average year in the ACC this year. He hit 356. That's great. But he only had 10 home runs. And if you're hitting cleanup in the ACC in a Power 4 conference as a first baseman, which is probably part of the reason why Virginia played him in right field some. They were trying to make him appear more versatile. You got to hit more home runs than 10. I guarantee you that 10 home runs hurt his draft stock. MLB.com says he's the number 73 prospect. I don't believe that. I don't see any major league team looking at a first baseman who only hit 10 home runs this year and go, yeah, that's the power bat we need. So I think he needs another year playing in a major conference. He needs
That's
to
a fair
show
point.
that. Yeah, he needs to show that he can increase those power numbers. And if he does, I could see his draft status exploding. And I guarantee you that's what our coaching staff is talking about too with him. I just don't see any pro franchise. They don't waste picks on first baseman as it is. You've got to be a special first baseman to get drafted because they look at it and go, we could find some big bat, that plays third or plays a corner outfield spot and teach them how to play first. So, if you're a true first baseman in the draft, you better mash. And if you don't, it's going to hurt your draft stock.
I think that's a fantastic point. And I think, everyone would agree that the ACC was not as strong as the SEC or maybe even the Sun Belt for that matter. So I think that's a fair assessment. If you like my hat, I just dropped the link straight to it in the comments for you. Let's see here. Sean said, "Hey, Sean, there's a channel member. Welcome, buddy." He said, "How about SEMO? Just saw his highlight from the other day. Yeah, first ever big league home run. I mean, that's so exciting. I was thrilled, just tickled to death for him." Now, before I get to the comments that I'll tell you what, I'll do the comments that have come through, and then I got one other thing to add to what you mentioned there. So, let's see. I think Nino Leggy said this about the NCAA in regards to Jordan Gainey. Papa J, welcome, buddy. He said going to miss Gainey, he was getting better in his role for sure. Tim, welcome, buddy. He said, "Hey guys, hope everyone's having an awesome day." Yeah, man. Hope you are too. Tony said a big part of the recruiting class will be drafted. How many do y'all think will make it to campus? It's a great question.
I don't know that anybody can answer that. Tony has been incredible at convincing guys not to go in the draft. I'll be very curious to watch how that plays out. I'll give you. Well, hang on. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'll give you one more reason I don't think DJ Newman's an outfielder. I think we're going to get Blaine Brown. And for those of you who don't know who Blaine Brown is, you need to. Blaine Brown is a freshman at Rice. He is the son of former Vol football player Chris Brown. This year at Rice, he was first team All AAC, not all freshmen, all conference as a true freshman. He led Rice in batting average, slugging percentage, total hits, RBIs, doubles, home runs, total bases, and multi-hit games.
Seems like
as a true freshman.
Good grief.
And he is an outfielder who's also a left-handed pitcher. He did both at Rice. I don't know that he would pitch at Tennessee. I think he would just become strictly an outfielder. But to come into
You're definitely not taking the bat out of his hand.
Yeah, to come into the American Athletic Conference, which is a really good baseball conference, and start every game as a true freshman and lead the team in almost every offensive category, to the point that you make first team all conference as a true freshman. He visited this week. That is a kid we want. That kid is going to be a big time player. He's a Vol legacy. Blaine Brown needs to be an Orange.
You'd have him for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Herb said players going forward better be able to play multiple positions. You're 100% correct. Yes. That's exactly right. Because really you just got to find bats, and then you can find places for them in the field, unless it's like a middle infielder. But if they can hit, that's how you get on the field. And that's why Ariel Antigua has to start hitting the ball. Let's see here. Elijah said Ford probably won't make it to campus, but you know how Tony is with convincing these kids to come to Tennessee. Dude would immediately become a front runner for Golden Spikes. So he said that before you gave your reasoning as to why you think he will make it to campus.
Yeah,
but you're exactly right, Elijah. He would be a front runner for Golden Spikes. I mean, because he would immediately be on the watch list at the beginning of the season, and then as long as he has a decent year, he'd certainly be in the running for it. Let's see. Jonathan said, it seems like Tony and his coaching staff doesn't use two-way players both ways. I don't know. They just haven't had a player good enough to do that yet or what. But, I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Another player in the portal who visited this week that we absolutely need is Jaron Advincula.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, he was the
Or should I
starting
say
second.
that's a cool name, but
yeah. He was the starting second baseman at Cal this year, started every game. Speed guy, but has pop, hit 334 with 11 bombs, but also stole 21 bases.
Did you say California?
Yes.
The ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference powerhouse, California?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Just verified.
He has started, he's been at Cal for 2 years, and he has started every game for 2 years. At second base. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it would be a welcome. I mean, imagine a faster Gavin Keelan stepping into that second base position. That's what you've got in Jaron Advincula.
And with their shortstop talking to Tennessee already, could it be their entire middle infield comes across the country to a neighboring conference? That'd be pretty cool. Let's see. Elijah, when you were talking about the kid from Rice, his stats, Elijah said, that is impressive. I totally agree. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, Mina Lackey. She said that is the perfect battered Vol syndrome survivor cap. The puffed letters will help when we bang our heads against a wall. Perfect pairing. Hey, we at the Vol Bros, we think of everything, man. What can I say? I definitely didn't think about that. Yeah, that was all you mean, like. Yeah, it's a good point. Rhonda said, in response to the kid's stats, she was like, "That's all." She said, "That is really impressive." Absolutely. Will, welcome, buddy. Will from Ohio. That's what I'm talking about. Good to have you, buddy. He said, "Hey, everyone, football season's going to be here before we know it. Then I can contribute more in the chat." LOL. Hey, we appreciate you, man. We're glad you're here. Always. Let's see. Herb said Abernathy played second base and outfield this year. That is correct.
Yeah, but if we get Jaron Advincula, he's going to play second. Abernathy will be in center. And the Myatt kid from this is my prediction. Ariel Antigua will be at short. Henry Ford will be at first. Advincula will be at second. The Myatt kid from Walter State will be at third. And the outfield will be Newstrom, Abernathy, and Chapman. And then you've got the option of DJ Newman or Blaine Brown at DH. And then in moments when you want to get crazy athletic in the outfield, you take Reese Chapman out of right, put Blaine Brown in, and all of a sudden you've got one of the fastest outfields in America with Chris Newstrom, Jay Abernathy, and Blaine Brown.
Carl's here. Welcome, Carl. Good to have you. There's a channel member. He said, howdy, folks. He said, I want an orange shield. Carl, less than 30 days, buddy, and it's all yours. Let me check, make sure that, because I'm pretty sure. So I really wish StreamYard would show us the shields and the custom emojis. I've said that once or twice on here, I know, but I'm gonna see real quick. So let's see here. Members. Yeah, Carl's got the blue shield right now. He's less than 30 days away from an orange shield. Rhonda said, me too, Carl. Rhonda is, I think, even closer to the orange shield. Even less than 30 days less. So that's exciting. Let's see. Like he said, I saw on X that we got Henry Ford. That's quite a name. But when I was asked later today, all I could think of was Todd. It was hot today. And I'm glad you said that. Henry Ford is actually his real name. Our mom texted me and Ruston just a minute ago, and she said, with a name like Ford, that's an NIL no-brainer. He should be driving a truck the day after he arrives in Knoxville. I totally agree. I mean, that is a match made in heaven. So if you're a Ford dealership in Knoxville, maybe you can help bring him to Knoxville and make sure he doesn't enter the draft. There you go. That'd be a way we can make sure he gets there. Sean said maybe a question for another time, but in baseball, what kinds of athletic abilities are we looking for in each position? In other words, what makes someone a good first baseman, etc. A good first baseman is someone who can hit really well.
Yeah. Yeah. First base is your biggest, slowest body who's also able to pound the baseball. If you can find an agile and athletic first baseman who can pound the baseball, that's just gravy. I mean, if you go around the horn, catcher, a lot of pro scouts aren't as concerned with catchers having great hitting ability. They're looking for pop time. They're looking for the ability to block. They're looking for their ability to call a game, understand hitters' swings, break people down. First base, most people just draft the best bat and turn him into a first baseman. Second base and shortstop are basically interchangeable. They're looking for combination of straight line speed, and it needs to be elite speed and lateral movement. Third base is usually a shortstop who was a little too slow. They're looking for athleticism there. They're looking for a glove, but they're also looking for a big bat. Right field is where you hide big bats with big arms who are a little slow. Typically right field is your best outfield arm. But it's also
because they have the longest throw to make from the right field corner to third base.
Yeah. But they're also typically bigger guys who, swing the bat a little better. Center field is your absolute best outfielder athletically. Need to have incredible elite level straight line speed. Left field should be almost as fast as your center fielder. You're looking for the ability to close on the ball in the gaps. Typically not your best outfield arm. A lot of people hide a good hitter in left field and teach them how to track balls if they're pretty fast. But essentially across the corners, you want power and athleticism is gravy. Up the middle, you just want tons of athleticism and speed at an elite level.
Nolan said, do y'all think we could upgrade? Welcome, Nolan, as a channel member. He said, do y'all think we could upgrade in the infield defense with some key pickups or new freshmen? And if so, who do you think?
I think the infield's going to be interesting. I think Ariel Antigua starts at short. If we get Avancula, he starts at second. That's a great defensive second baseman. Henry Ford's a good defensive first baseman. I think the biggest question mark is third. I project that they'll move the Myatt kid over there from Walter State. He has not played a lot of third base, but he's played multiple other infield positions. Could also be Blake Grimmer. If it's Blake Grimmer, that's a converted All-American shortstop playing third.
Also got Manny Marin.
Yeah, I tell you, that's the weird one. I don't know where Manny fits in with any of this. Manny is an option as well.
So here's my prediction.
That infield's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
So here's my prediction. Ariel Antigua is easily the best defensive infielder we have, but if he can't hit the ball, you can't have him taking up a spot in the lineup. So either Ariel has to start hitting the ball or he's going to enter the transfer portal at the end of the season because he's not going to get on the field.
That's possible.
He'll end up doing his normal 8th and 9th inning come in the game for defensive purposes deal. So either he starts hitting it or he's not going to be on the field. It sounds like we're potentially going to get maybe the starting middle infield for the Atlantic Coast Conference powerhouse California Bears. And, if that's the case, then maybe Manny Marin stays the third next year. I don't know. But Ariel's got to start hitting the ball. That's the bottom line. Let's see. Elijah said the orange shield is cool. Yeah, buddy. Elijah's got an orange shield. He sure does. Elijah's a watch party fan member as well. So Elijah, we appreciate you and Scott and Audrey. And let's see, we have one more, Clay. We appreciate you all very, very much. We're actually going to do our next watch party fam live stream, watch party only fam live stream this upcoming Sunday. So a week from today at 8:00 p.m. Eastern. So mark your calendars for that, and we'll send out reminders. Let's see. Herb said, "What's the chance we land Landon Mack? If we do, is he starting it as a pitcher?" I think that's what he means.
Yeah, if we get Landon Mack, he will most likely be in the weekend rotation. I have not heard anything about where his process is. He has kept everything very close to the vest. I don't
Currently
know.
at Rutgers University, for anybody wondering.
Yeah, he visited. It would be great to have him. He would definitely be a weekend starter. But they have just not. There's been no verbiage out there on anybody's behalf of where his recruitment stands, and he's visited multiple places.
So Jonathan said what I said. He said if Ariel Antigua doesn't start hitting better, I don't see him playing hardly any next season. I agree. That's the only reason why he hasn't been on field yet. He's just got to hit the ball better. Let's see. Will said, "Get that young man a Raptor." I'm not sure who he was referring to when it was not 7 minutes ago. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up on the comments here. Brendan said, "Carl, I don't know what an orange shield is, but I want my Go Big Orange hat. Maybe Evan can explain the emojis for those that don't know what y'all are talking about." That's a good idea. Yeah, I will do that here in just a second. Side note, Brendan, I appreciate you buying that hat, man. I'm guessing it'll probably be getting shipped out here in the next couple of days. If it hadn't already, I don't know. I can go check. Let's see. Yeah, Brendan has one of these on his way to him for sure. So does Audrey. Audrey, if you're watching, you got one on the way. I know yours has been shipped, so you should be getting yours probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess. Let's see. Herb said team is guaranteed recruiting high shortstop as they always have. Tony said a good first baseman, Blake Burke type. Absolutely. Somebody can hit the ball really well. Brendan said center field and shortstop are definitely the best all-around athletes. Totally agree. Let's see. Carl said, "Brendan, when you pay $5 a month, you get shields, custom emojis, and timeshare at Evan and Ruston's house." Kind of fussy about muddy shoes and smoking at the breakfast table. That's awesome. Did you hear that? So for the first ever Vol Bros episode, this is our 229th episode. Ginger is actually sitting right across from me for the first time ever. She came up here and she's chilling up here doing some work. Ginger, just so you know, Carl, Brennan asked about the shields and stuff for the channel members. And Carl said, when you pay $5 a month, you get shields, custom emojis, and timeshare at Evan or Ruston's house. She said that's got to be its own special category. So we had honorary fam, or we have supporter level at $1.99, honorary fam at $5, and watch party fam at $14.99. So yeah, Ginger said timeshare fam has to be at least $99 a month. Or that might be like actual fam because you're coming to stay at our house. So we got honorary fam, watch party fam, and actual fam. That's pretty good. Mina, like he said, yeah, but the impromptu jacuzzi at Evans earlier was awesome. Oh man, Brandon said Evan has a jacuzzi. I wish that'd be cool. Oh man. man, that may be one of the funniest things I've ever read on here. That was really good. Elijah said the one watch party we did was really fun. Absolutely. We gave away some merch at that too. We got another one coming up for a football game this year. We'll give away some more merch. Like he said, don't forget the group trip to Dollywood in March. Yeah. Now that would be if Volbro's outing to Dollywood. We'll meet everybody there. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Yeah, Ginger says she could book us a group Volbros cruise. There we go. Hey, that's actually not a half bad idea. Let's see. Brendan said this is getting interesting. Carl said they told me the jacuzzi was out of order. They had me soak in the pond. The mosquitoes were horrible. Rhonda said, do y'all know where Loy went? He is not yet announced where he will be transferring to.
Mm-mm.
I wish he wouldn't transfer, honestly, but I don't think he and the coaching staff see his future the same way. And so, unfortunately, we don't know where he's going just yet. Oh, Will was talking about the Ford kid, Henry Ford. We need to get him a Raptor truck. Brendan said Raptor's a Ford truck. There you go. Appreciate y'all helping me out on that one. Like sometimes that comments come through and I don't see them till several minutes later, and then I don't know what they're referring to. Tony made a good point. He said, Ruston, you said Reese Chapman's coming back. If so, he's got to be in the outfield somewhere. Yeah, I think Reese will probably be the starting right fielder. Like he said, we promised him a Disney World trip. Will said a third baseman has quick reflexes. Yeah, they have to. You're right. Jonathan asked a good question. He said, have y'all heard anything about Marcus Phillips coming back or not? He is not coming back. Now, has he made like an official announcement? No, I don't think so. But he made a post on Instagram, like thanking Vol Nation and for his time here and stuff like that. So I think that's probably a pretty good indicator he won't be back, unfortunately. Elijah said 229th episode. Wow, yeah, there we go. So I'm talking about. I'm pretty excited about it too. Ginger Carl said, hey. She said hi. Like he said hi as well. Brennan said you were his favorite teacher. That's what I'm talking about. Elijah said I think he's talking about our channel membership was worth it. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm trying to make it as every bit as worth it as I can. I'll go through all those here in just a second. Carl said, like y'all want to split that timeshare deal, we'll book it through Ginger. Like he said, Ruston is texting his locksmith.
Yep.
That's awesome. Tony said he heard Loy may go to South Carolina. I think that would actually make a lot of sense for him because they need, SEC pitchers to compete in the conference. And Dylan Loy is a good SEC pitcher. I think that would make a lot of sense. Oh, I just said he was saying that it's hashtag worth it for the new $99 tier. That's pretty good. Well, hey, speaking of that, I'll show everybody real quick what we're talking about. So we got 3 levels of memberships on our channel. The supporter level, $1.99 a month. With that one, you get custom emojis and member badges, as well as priority reply in the comments. If you want to know what those look like, here is the very first one you get as soon as you join. This is the Smoky Gray Shield. 1 month into it, you get the Summit Blue Shield. 2 months into it, you get the Orange Shield. So we got several people with the Orange Shield now. And then 6 months into it, you get the Dark Mode Shield. That one looks really cool in my opinion. They all look cool in my opinion. Then a year into it, you get the Summit Blue and Orange Shield, and then 2 years, boom, checkerboard, go time right there. The custom emojis, here's 4 of them right here. Any 3 fans, if you're new to our show. Rustin, would you like to explain to people? We got 432 people watching across all 3 platforms right now. You want to explain to the folks what the any 3 fans means?
It's a basketball reference, and it's in reference to the unbelievably bad SEC basketball officials. And I am a firm believer that they could do a fan game at the beginning of every game and just pick any 3 fans out of the crowd, and the officiating will be just as good as if the SEC sent their own crew. So I'm a firm believer that we can literally crowdsource this and get the same result.
And it'd be another way to pack the arena. I mean, people would come just to maybe get in the lottery to get the referee. Here's some more custom emojis. The 2 on the bottom left are coming up soon. But we got that goat emoji right there for Tony Vitello, and we have a hat on our website as well with that on there. Smoky Rain dark mode available on that. And then soon you've got custom emoji Ruston and emoji Evan there, and then Sadie the Unicorn, which is from a Cart Cam episode we did. Fun times. Now, so if you're a supporter, you get that stuff. If you do for $4.99 a month, the honorary fam, you also get access to our message board on our website. You get early access to Cart Cam episodes, which I'll have another one coming out this week. You also get behind the scenes content. So if you saw our small glimpse into our Father's Day celebration on our YouTube channel, if you're honorary fan member, and then if you're a watch party fan member, you get all the stuff from the first 2 levels. Plus, you have a perpetual 15% discount at our merch store. Plus, you get monthly members only live streams. Plus, you get at least 3 watch parties a year, 1 for football, 1 for baseball, 1 for basketball. And at those watch parties, we give away free merch from our website. So it's a fun time, man. That was a lot of fun when we had the one for baseball last month. It was a good time. Actually, no, it was this month. It's still June. Yeah. So fun stuff, man. Really fun stuff. Let's see here. Carl said, Rustin, where do you think we are at pitching? Well, we had another one enter the portal, Austin Breedlove, which hurts.
It does in a way, but in another way, again, I'll say what I said the other night. There's only one reason these guys enter the portal, and at this volume, and that is they're being told to go. You don't tell this many pitchers to go unless you feel pretty confident in your ability to backfill them. Which is another reason why I think a lot of these guys who are potential draft risks maybe actually aren't. So I was just writing down what our current pitching staff, as it stands today, if no one goes in the draft, where it stands. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14 pitchers signed right now or on roster.
Well, there you go. That's where they're coming from.
if no one leaves in the draft, I'm very confident in the 14 we have. They're legit. You got Matt Barr, who's the top JUCO pitcher in America. He's a draft risk. DJ Newman, he was a Friday starter before he got injured this year. Brady Frederick could be a starter or a reliever. Either role, he's going to be very good. Bo Rudy could very well be the closer. He's touching triple digits. And I say that 14. Let me also add this. If Tanner Franklin decides to stay, we actually have 15. Mason Estrada is a wild card. He's the kid from MIT. I don't know if Tony signed him because he needed to improve his APR score or if he legitimately thinks he can play at this level. But, anytime you get a transfer from MIT, the team GPA just went up significantly. But he's, can he translate high velocity at Division III? He was a late bloomer, throws crazy hard. Can he translate Division III to Division I? So that's a question mark. Clay Edmondson is another draft risk. He will definitely be a weekend starter if we get him. You got Tegan Coons returning. You got Brandon Arvidsson returning. You got Ryan Combs. You got Braden Krenzel. You got Michael Sharman. You got Anson Siebert. Those six, that's six big arms that can, after a year in a strength program, all six of those guys could give you huge innings. And then if Tanner Franklin returns, all of a sudden you've got a 15-man roster of pitchers that honestly can compete with anybody. So, if Matt Barr and Clay Edmondson go pro, now you've got 13 guys. You're probably hunting somebody like a Landon Mack because you've got to make sure you've got one solid starter to replace those two. And, all of a sudden you're going, okay, who's our third weekend starter? And you're having a team-wide competition for it. And that, honestly, it could be any one of 3 or 4 guys. We didn't get to see Anson Siebert at all this year because of injury. Most people thought he was going to be one of the weekend starters, the way he competed in the fall before he got hurt. So, there's a lot of dudes there that can do the job.
Elijah said that the NE3 fans especially would work for women's basketball because the officiating in women's basketball is not great.
It's only the SEC women's officials are the only officials in the country worse than the SEC men's officials. And it's a constant competition between the two of them to see who's worst.
Carl said only 10 likes on YouTube. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Hey, I appreciate that, Carl. Thank you very much, man. To the 466 people watching across all 3 platforms, we appreciate y'all as well. Like you said, speaking of bad umpires, the Chanticleer's coach and first base coach got ejected first inning. That's pathetic. Especially if what they said was true. The coach only said, "You've missed 3 pitches." And the ump tossed him. And then he came out, and then all the stuff happened with the ump falling down and all that kind of stuff. But according to Coastal Carolina's coach, he literally, if he's telling the truth, he said, "You've missed 3 pitches," and the guy tossed him.
But this is the NCAA's fault, and it could have been completely avoidable. We're talking about Angel Campos here. For those of you who don't know, Angel Campos was the home plate umpire who ejected Coastal's coaches today. He's also the home plate umpire who ejected Cam Camarello at Clemson last year for absolutely nothing, for celebrating a huge moment, and did nothing to taunt the other team. He tossed him. This is the same Angel Campo who no longer calls Major League Baseball games because the entire Major League blackballed him. Every single team gets a vote on umpires that they never want to see again, and he was a unanimous choice to never umpire in pro baseball ever again. And so somehow College World Series just missed that fact and didn't just hire him to coach or to umpire college baseball. They put him on the national championship game. So
behind the plate.
when a guy has been blackballed by all of professional baseball, it's probably a good idea not to put him behind the plate of the national championship game.
Yeah, there may be a reason why that could have happened. Why no one wanted him to call their games anymore. Bobby said, "Who do you think basketball will get since it seems Gainey and coming back?"
Probably the kid from Bowling Green. I'll tell you what, Bowling Green University, between our basketball and baseball programs, they're not going to be huge fans of the University of Tennessee.
Yeah. Jonathan said, "Who do you think our weekend starters will be right now based on who we have right now, if you had to guess?
Assuming no one goes in the draft, I would say Matt Barr, Clay Edmondson, and Anson Siebert.
I think Tegan Coons will probably be one of those three dudes.
I don't know, because Tegan wasn't in that mix until Siebert got hurt this year.
That's true. Carl said, Ruston, these are names I hadn't even heard of yet, about 50%. Good to know. So he appreciated that rundown of that list. Let's see. Mina Leggy said, World Series championship games should require umps with thick skins and can walk backwards without flipping.
I do appreciate the fact
I like that, Mina Leggy. That was a good one.
I do appreciate the fact that when that umpire went down, he made sure to do a military roll so he could get back up quickly. That was impressive. In front of 25,000 people, that dude executed a backwards somersault.
Did you see what Coastal Carolina's coach said after the game?
Oh, yeah.
So if you didn't see, anybody watching, if you didn't see it, after the game, he was asked about that question, and, you know, he being, you know, ejected and all this kind of stuff, and then about bumping into the umpire, and he said, you know, he barely touched the guy, and he was like, I can't be held accountable for his athleticism, for a grown man's athleticism, for falling down. I think he actually tripped over the other umpire's foot is what happened.
He made a point to say that. He said he tripped over Angel's foot. I never touched him. And then he bounced up and acted like I touched him.
Yep. Mina Leggy says she gave us thumbs up. Appreciate that very much. And she used the custom logo. I like that. The custom emoji. Mina Leggy. Yep. That's what he said. That's right. Let's see. Brendan said, yeah, Angel's bad. Elijah said something about umpires. Yeah, buddy. Absolutely. Tim said that guy would toss the bat boy or bat girl. Brendan said also Angel doesn't know the strike zone above the belt. Carl said, don't let Sankey know about that ump. He'll hire him for officiating football. He sees the potential to make SEC games worse. Well, earlier I said that there was one thing I wanted to add to this whole transfer portal discussion. And that's something that Kendall Rogers said on Twitter. And I've found this out from Dalton Connect fan on Twitter. Quote tweeted, I think that might be Elijah. Elijah, you let me know. Is that you on Twitter? Or excuse me, X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. But this is very interesting. So Kendall Rogers, for anybody who doesn't know, Kendall Rogers is one of the main dudes at D1 baseball. Probably the most in the know dude. Yeah, I thought it was Elijah. I thought it was you. Okay. Elijah said it was me. Hey, Elijah, you the man, dude. I appreciate you. He quote tweeted, Kendall Rogers said one word. Elijah quote tweeted and said, oh, like that. And so I went back and looked at it. So Kendall Rogers, this was on June 21st, which was yesterday. He said, hearing it's about to be a big weekend on the transfer portal front for Vol baseball. Now, a dude from Mississippi State replied to him and said, Ford and Becker. And Kendall Rogers replied back, more, period. One word. That's all I said. Now, Ford did commit today. Becker did not. DJ Newman did. But so then I'm like, okay, well, there's two Beckers currently in the transfer portal. One, and this is the one I don't think he's referring to. One is Zane Becker. He's a transfer freshman catcher from Arkansas. I don't think that's who he's referring to. The other is Eric Becker. He is ranked the number 2 overall prospect in the transfer portal. And he is a shortstop at Virginia. Now, several people were speculating that he entered the portal to follow Brian O'Connor, who is now going to apparently Mississippi State, and he's going to follow his coach there. but that hasn't happened yet. So Tennessee is currently talking to two different shortstops in the transfer portal. One is the shortstop at Virginia, Eric Becker, who's the number 2 ranked overall prospect in the portal. The other is the shortstop at California, the ACC school. So I'm just going to say that like every time. It's going to get really old, but I'm going to do it every time because it cracks me up that California is in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Geography and higher or institutions for higher learning should probably go hand in hand, but apparently not. So what if Eric Becker, number 2 overall transfer portal prospect, commits to Tennessee? Tennessee would then have the number 1 and number 2 overall prospects in the portal committed to them. That would not stink. That would not stink. So there's still a lot to happen in the portal. Certainly not over yet, but obviously a big day for Tennessee especially when you get the number 1 overall prospect in the portal, and he plays at Virginia, and they're talking to his buddy, his teammate, who also plays at Virginia and is the number 2 overall prospect. So number 1 and number 2 overall prospects in the portal, both from the same school. That would be very nice if they came down I-81 to Knoxville. Let's see. Tim said, are the Lady Vols softball finished with their roster? Do you know of anyone else they might add? I believe they're done. Ruston, do you know anything different than that?
I haven't heard of anyone else.
I think they're done. Yep. Like he said, Joe West was the ump that tossed the cameraman. John said, I believe our shortstop next year will be a Grimmer or Newstrom, unless it's a transfer guy. If Eric Becker comes up to UT, I'm saying it's going to be him. Ariel's got to start hitting the ball, otherwise he's not going to get on the field. And I hope he does, because I love seeing Ariel play defense. It's like poetry in motion out there. Well, Rustin, anything else on your mind for this evening before we sign off?
No. Advin Kula can play both spots, second and short. So if Becker's more of a second baseman in the SEC, then he could always slide over there as well.
And Manny Marin can play short too. Not a bad worst case scenario there. Not bad at all. Carl said, Semo's first homer and Beck homer this week. Yep, absolutely. They're tearing it up. I love it. Absolutely love it. To the 516 people watching across all 518 people watching across all 3 platforms, we appreciate you all very, very much. Thank you. We hope you join us again on Thursday. Thursday night we'll be live. And hey, I mentioned this last time. I want to mention it again. Everybody circle August 28th on your calendars. It's going to be a really fun night. So Rustin and I, normally we go live every Thursday and Sunday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, August 28th, will be slightly different. We will be live at 6:30 p.m. that night, live from the Ooltewah Club just outside Chattanooga, Tennessee. They are our title sponsor, and we are going to have an SEC football trivia night that night. I can neither confirm nor deny, totally confirm, that the majority of the questions will be about Tennessee football. But it's going to be a whole lot of fun. There will be prizes. And so really, really hope all of you tune in that night especially, but we hope you see you back here again on Thursday. Carl, thank you so much, man. Carl just gave a $10 super chat, and he said it's for Ginger. She's laughing. She appreciates that, Carl. Appreciate that so much, Carl. Thank you, man. You're the man. I hope things are going good down in Florida down there for you. Jonathan said, great show as always, guys. Hope everyone has a great night. I'll see everybody Thursday. Thank you, Jonathan. We appreciate you, buddy, so much. Like you are the bomb. We appreciate you as well. Let's see. Brendan said he's got it circled in his calendar. Hey, I appreciate that, man. That is awesome. Carl said, love the show, fellas, and the fan interaction. Me too, man. Absolutely. I love it. Rhonda said, appreciate you all. Such a great show, family oriented. Hey, I thank you so much. That means a lot to me. That's what we try to be. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Rhonda. Mina Lackey's already talking trash about the trivia. She said, I'll try not to beat you too bad at trivia, Carl. That's what I'm talking about. Miss W. Vols said, go Vols, baby. Absolutely. We hope all of you have a great evening. We hope you see you again Thursday night at 9:00. To the 527 people watching across all 3 platforms, y'all are awesome. Reed, if you're still watching, buddy, thank you for retweeting it. You're the man. We hope everybody has a great night. Go Vols, baby. We will see you very, very soon.